Good evening.
Oh, good evening, Tony. You know better than anyone how excited I've been about tonight's show, how I've been looking forward to this, and how I dumped all the logistics on you and Ken DaCosta.
Well, we got it all together for you, and this is going to be a fantastic show. The things that they've been doing are pretty incredible, and we've got some clips even to show tonight of what they've been up to. It's just amazing.
I really consider this a game change. What is happening with Cody and Satori really does change everything. It's not hyperbole when I posted on Facebook tonight, you must come. This will change the way you think about everything. This is what we've waited for, for me, my whole life, since I understood that spirit existed and wanted to be able to communicate in a meaningful way, to be able to communicate in a way that was conscious contact, that
Right.
was sustained conscious contact. And I think that's what they've accomplished and stumbled into, I believe, quite by accident. It just happened spontaneously. And they didn't even know what to make of it and what to think of it. And I know I'm getting a little ahead of things, but before we bring them on, and then we also have two other very special guests tonight. We have Ken DaCosta with us, and we also have Julie DeMay, who is not only a cinematographer, but an experiencer in the same way that Ken, as a researcher, is also an experiencer. And these two have witnessed firsthand and chronicled, recorded what's going on here. And what's going on here is mind-bending, life-altering evidence. Unlike anything that I have seen in my life, this is not in any way an exaggeration. People will see for themselves. But let me preface my remarks with saying that I have known Cody and Satori since they were children. Children. I believe that I met Cody when he was 15 and fell madly in love with him and his sweet, sweet heart. And then I believe I met Satori when she was 17. They can correct me if I'm wrong on the years, but I've watched them grow up. And I'm so incredibly impressed with the young man and woman that they have evolved into. They are so wise beyond their years. They're both very mature, very sensible, very pragmatic, but also deeply sensitive individuals. And something clicked between them that is magic. It's just magical.
That's the best word for it, because it's unlike anything I've ever seen before, and just really special, really special.
Really special. So why don't we bring our very special guests in tonight to begin our show?
All right, here they come.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I really love you guys. I'm speaking for Ken and Julie as well as Tony. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you. We go back a ways. We do. And I've known Ken and Julie about as long. And let it be said that all of us are blown away by what we've witnessed happening with the two of you. So before we even go any farther into discussion of this, Cody, Satori, the floor is yours. The show is yours to highlight and spotlight your spiritual evolution as paranormal investigators. So let's tell people who maybe have not heard of you or have heard of you but only vaguely know a little about what you're doing. Give them the primer on Satori and Cody 101 and bring us right up to the point where we're going with this show.
Okay.
Yes. Well, first off, I want to say thank you for having us. And it's nice to actually be on the screen and tell you how much I love you in person instead of in the chat. So it's nice. Do you want to start off?
You want me to start?
Go ahead.
Well, I can speak for both of us that we both, of course, are investigators and want to learn more about the paranormal, like a lot of us do. And that's how, at least myself, got started in this whole field, by having an experience when I was about 8 years old in the house I grew up in. And that, of course, opened the door to the whole paranormal realm and wanting to learn more about it. And I've always been gravitated towards the technical side of things. And I say this now, unfortunately, I never really paid attention to the metaphysical side of things. And looking back on it, maybe I should have paid a little more attention. But up until I met Satori, I've always been a very technical-based investigator. I've always, that's just the way I was taught to investigate, basing a lot of your evidence on data. And that changed when Satori wanted to start investigating. And she, joined the team. And we immediately were paired up together.
I kind of had the same situation. I was brought up in a family where the paranormal was very normal, but you always tried to find a logical explanation for it, debunk it if it was something that you couldn't be proven as paranormal, things like that. So this was kind of different, since I grew up wanting to be an investigator like my dad and kind of debunk things and just look for answers. And then as soon as Cody and I met, which was in 2018, we met, and for the first event we did, we started getting weird activity when we were together. We had only just met each other that first day, and he brought me to my first case. That's how we met. And I brushed up against his like shoulder arm area, just walking by him, and it sounded like an explosion of footsteps is all I could say. But we were doing an investigation type event, and we didn't really know what to make of it. We just thought, oh, this is strange. This location must be very active, until we started, figuring it out by like the fifth time it happened at a different location. And then we asked, well, this is just a question, but if anybody's here, can you give me so many footsteps or so many noises for yes and no? And we were getting answers.
Right. And I forget what made us, hold hands. I want to say it was somebody told us, you should try holding hands.
Somebody went, wait, it's when you guys are touching. That's weird.
Right. Somebody else noticed it. And then we really started to experiment with it. I remember we were at a overnight case in Connecticut or Rhode Island, one of the two. And we ended up staying up the whole night because we had found out, I think that was the night that we found out when we hold hands, that it's like flipping on a light switch and something that we can't explain. We're not like the typical medium, and we have friends that are mediums and psychics, and we support that, but we're not, we don't see any spirits or anything like that.
We like to make the joke where a psychic is a bag of rocks, at least in the form that most people are used to as a psychic or a medium.
Right. So whatever happens when we hold hands, whatever you hear is all that we hear as well. We're not hearing anything else more than you. We have no idea how it works or why it's happening, but it just happens. And we kept it a secret for a while because we just didn't know what to do with it. And being an investigator, it's a tough pill to swallow when you've gone out every single weekend trying to find this stuff, and then it's just laid in your lap totally unexpectedly. It's definitely a tough pill to swallow because you don't know what to do with it. And, when it first started happening to us, we were like, whoa, is somebody like in the house, like pranking us? Because that's the first thing as investigators you want to do. So we searched that house and then it started happening at different locations. So.
But then we realized we were, answering questions in history, bringing through people for those that needed it. We were just doing that. So we realized, we can't put a price on this. So we are never going to take money from or anything from the people we are helping directly. That's not what it's about. And we realized that this is just our job. This is why we're here. We're here to, do the job of, the spiritual, I guess, world, whatever they want us to do. And we're here to just kind of pass the messages along when they're needed.
Well, that's the thing. I've always described myself as a messenger too, just a humble messenger. And I think of the two of you in that same way. I also think that you've been given a rare and precious gift because you were to be trusted with it. And I think you don't know how to unwrap your gift. You're learning one little strip of ribbon at a time. You're unpacking slowly, gently, deliberately, thoroughly, and mindfully unpacking this incredible connection that you have established with those on the other side. But the other side is this side. And the communication is consistent, and you can the repetition is there. I mean, you've only been having these experiences, what, about maybe 7-8 months now?
We've had the sounds, the activity for about 3 years now, but we haven't been able to get it was a working process to get where we are now. So it's little by little, like you said, footsteps.
Until people started really finding out about it, it's probably been about 8 months now.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's about when I found out about it too. So you really did keep it undercover. If you kept it away from me, you did. You did. But I do know that you shared it with Julie and Ken. And I know that as much as, you know, Ken's into the tech and is extremely pragmatic as an investigator, he has been emotionally moved by this. And so has Julie. So if you don't mind, I'll give them a couple of moments before, you know, so that they can each share their experiences. And then we'll come back to ground zero, because before we even go into any of the video clips, Cody, I want to share the experience that we had together at Bathsheba's gravesite. Okay. And I know Tony has it loaded. But first, let's turn it over to Ken and then Julie and let them insert their perspective on all of this amazing stuff that's going on.
Julie, why don't you go ahead?
I don't know where to even start. I'd say, you know, I've investigated with Cody for several years now as part of TAPS and Rise Up, and Satori I've just met recently, and they're both amazing people. That's the first thing I need to say. They're the nicest people in the world, and this gift is just a bonus. But I mean, I've been doing video for quite a few years with Rise Up. I probably shot over 1,000 hours of video, and the couple hours of video I've shot with them over recent investigations blows away anything I've ever seen 10 times. It's just unbelievable to just sit there, and everybody knows I do a lot of the video. I have cameras all over the place, and I'm like, I can't explain this knocking or people literally walking into a room, and you can almost hear them like stomping like right next to them. It's nothing I've ever seen, nothing I ever expected, and I probably have 10 times the questions I had before I met them. It's just really, really weird, but I feel honored that I'm part of it and then I can capture it. And it's just an amazing experience, but not only of what I've had happen, where I had my brother who had passed come through at an investigation at Payne House, where we're expecting people from the 17 and 1800s to come through, and here comes my brother. And he tells me he's with my dad and my grandfather who had passed. Now that blew me away. But what blew me away a few minutes later is, you know, we had asked them, like anybody can say, oh, everybody knows, you know, Julie's brother, you can look that up. But I had asked a question, what's something that you can tell me that nobody else would know? Well, we never got to the question. It was about a half an hour later, me and Satori had gone up to the military room, and not did my brother come through, but somebody else did, saying Julie's brother loved animals, which was even odder. So people are talking amongst themselves on the other side, which is actually blew me away even more.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, and looking forward to, you know, filming again with them.
Oh, we love you, Julie.
Love you too, Satori and Cody.
The only thing I can really add to this is that we all, outside of Cody and Satori, haven't come to this very long now. I don't think it's been 3 months. The first time that
I was approached on an investigation. Cody said, "You mind if we try something?" Sure, go ahead. I had no idea what was coming. And this was just back in November. So really, we haven't been 3 months into this. And I think that we've probably gone into maybe 5 places. And we probably have 7 or 8 ahead of us here, conservatively. Kind of the way I look at this right now is I'm sort of past being blown away because obviously this is real. And as surprising as these things are, the thing I take out of it the most are conversations, because obviously you'd have to be with us to see the process when they do this. We pretty much give them free rein. Whatever you feel like doing or wherever you feel like being, go ahead and do it. If you spend 5 minutes or an hour or 15 minutes, whatever, accumulating this information. And it's not just a question of being vague. We're talking about full names, first names, surnames, dates of death. And while they're doing this, as best we can, we are checking them in real time as they go about doing this. Now, we're not letting them in on it, but they're coming up with names, and we're already getting the last names and dates before they come out with them, and we're just checking, and everything follows in order. But the thing that I think is the most gratifying, and I know we've done one residential case, and, you know, it brings us emotional content in terms of you can get names and dates, but you don't know frames of mind. You don't know what's going on the other side. And we have had conversations with people, literally, where they're asking us questions about our world, because they can see into what we're doing. They can see objects maybe they're not familiar with in that surrounding and ask us questions. What's that? What is this? I don't know what that is. And we're having a give and take, a conversation with the other side, in that we're bringing each other's world kind of together, where they're getting insights on ours, we're getting insights on them. So to me, that's the most amazing thing, to be able to just have that dialogue with anyone who decides that at any given time they'd like to step in and let themselves be known. Or send a message. Those are the most beautiful things, I think, when people want to send messages to loved ones to just basically say, I love you and I'm okay. You know, and I had a similar situation with my mom, who just showed up at Pain House and just came through and was talking about my sister who had passed, my living sisters, my grandmother, and giving me the names and everything. So it was a nice conversation to have. But kind of to wrap it up, what I love about it is whoever wants to show up shows up. And it's not a case of saying, hey, we don't have time for you right now, because if there's a message, you know, we'll receive that message and do the best we can to pass it along. But we've never forgotten why we're in a place. We were invited here for this reason, and we try to remain focused on that reason, at that location, what it is, the experiences they've had, whatever the case may be. So to see both of this come, because they're still investigators, it's not like they don't pick up recorders and things like that. They haven't forsaken any of that stuff. But to see all this come together, where we're literally getting names and dates, phenomenal. But taking it one step further into the dialogue that we're having with these people who have passed on is the thing that I think means the most to me. And they know how I feel. After being involved in this for so long, it's like I just feel re-energized on this, because it all meant something. You know, maybe we're not the receptors, but They can see, they can hear us. They're trying to communicate, but for most of us, we're not there yet. And having them along is not only do they have a gift, but it's a gift to us too. Because in the end, the people who are kind enough to invite us in to their residence or their location for answers are able to get those things now in a more expedient manner. And to me, that means more than anything, because that's why we're there.
Please.
I know it's a deeply emotional process, and we're going to get into that process momentarily. And then, Ken and Julie, please, you were part of this as well. Speak up and share your own emotions about this. And Tony, I know, has the clip. Ken, your show with George spotlighted Cody and Satori not long ago, and it was an incredible episode. And so we want to make sure that before we're done tonight that we put the link up to it so that people who want to see more can do so. And it was, the word gets overused, but this was really a groundbreaking show. And this, as far as I'm concerned, is just a follow-up, a continuation of it, of a process that to me appears to be so pure of heart, so organic, and so authentic that it is literally life-altering for the viewer. But before we even get into our first clip, Cody and I, like I said, we go back. We go back a bit when he was shorter than he is now. Like almost like my height, And we went to Bathsheba's gravestone at the end of the day at the Ocean State Paracon. I think now, Cody, 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah, at least, yeah.
When this happened. And unbeknownst to me, you had a recorder going, and I was standing beside her gravestone and speaking to probably 25 or 30 people that had followed us over and had gathered there to give her our best wishes. And you got in touch with me the next day after you had done your review of what you had taped of my remarks, and you shared what you found with me and just gave it to me. You did not try to hoard it. You did not try to monetize it. You did not, which you could have done. It was at the height of, everything around The Conjuring. You could have, tried to make a few bucks on it and put it out there in a completely different way. And the way that you handled all of that told me then who you are.
Oh.
A young man of great quality of character.
Thank you.
And so anyway, Tony, I'm going to ask Tony if he would play this. And I was just cha-cha-cha. I don't even remember what I was talking about. But all of a sudden, we heard a disembodied voice. And that's what you shared with me. And Tony, if you would, play it several times.
And it was death. It was death. He was completely surrounded with death. Well, he didn't understand that the spirits, especially the female spirits, would protect us from the unsavory males that would come around. And not that Freddie was lovely. It was death. It was death. He was completely surrounded with death. Well, he didn't understand that the spirits, especially the female spirits, would protect us from the unsavory males that would come around. And not that Freddie was lovely.
I still get like, whoo, like whoosh.
Yeah. Me too. It blew me away. It was one of those throw your headphones off moments,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the best ones that I've recorded for sure.
I'm always amazed that it sounds like it's coming through like some sort of tunnel. It sounds like it's coming through a tunnel of time. It's so amazing.
Yeah, and clear as day too. It's definitely one of the best that I've gotten. And of course, I had to send it over to you right away because I think I don't know. I think she, if whoever it was, definitely found comfort in you were telling stories that day or that evening that we were there, and about your time at the farm, and maybe that just kind of connected the circuit together a little bit, and drew whatever that was out. I don't think it's bad in any way or anything like that. I think it's just somebody reaching out and maybe saying hello and
Or it
letting
could
them
be
know they're there.
residual, yeah.
Could be residual too, yeah. But I think Andrea being there definitely had something
Oh
to do
yeah,
with it,
push
for sure.
something out.
Yeah.
It was so strange too, because when I heard it, I recognized that voice. And all those years later, after living at that farm, and I don't know, I still right now, this moment, cannot tell you how I recognize this voice, because I didn't have a moment of recognition. It was almost like it tapped into something subconscious. I don't remember an incident or an episode where I heard that voice. But what you're doing and how I grew up and how my life has been, what all of us are doing, I believe, is that each one of us, and with all of you, quite literally and figuratively, are tapping into the unified field of consciousness. That everything is one thing. Everything is energy. And what you're doing is basically bypassing human machination of perceived boundaries and going right to the source. And I also think there's something about the two of you, Cody, your history being that you had crossed and come back. Mm-hmm. Satori being one of the kindest, most beautiful human souls I've ever encountered. And there's a spark that has happened between the two of you. I do not know if it could be duplicated with two other individuals or not, although I think over time it's certainly worth exploring that possibility. But for right now, I'm just busy being blown away by what's happening with the two of you and how it vindicates and validates decades of research. Ken and I were on the phone for at least an hour the other day. I think he runs when he sees my number come up on his phone, like, oh no, I just lost a whole chunk of my day if I answer the friggin' phone. Oh my God. Oh, Sandy.
Hi, Mom.
Sweet. But he was brave and he answered the phone and we talked for a while. And he was telling me what this means to him as somebody who's been in this field for more than 4 decades, of seeing all that work and that compilation of evidence come to fruition into bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young people who will carry the torch forward long after we're all done and passed it to you and said, it's your turn to burn. Just go do it. Go spark it up. And Ken and I are basically the same age. So, the sentiment is, oh, thank God there's somebody that can, pick up and go forward. But I don't know, Ken, I know you and Tony discussed some type of a sequence, but I don't care what sequence we do this in. Let's just start with some of what we've got.
Yeah, I'll kind of leave that to Tony. I had talked to Cody earlier, and I think that there has been a cycle of these videos that we've seen that kind of brought them into people's consciousness with a case we did back in November. But we picked out a couple tonight to come here and show, actually for the first time, that sort of addresses some other things that are just mind-bending. So wherever you want to go, Tony, pop on or whatever. And very, very quickly, I'll set this up as best I can. I'll let Cody, Satori, Julie, kind of fill in the gaps a little bit
Great.
and tell you where we're coming from.
Great.
Which
Are you with the?
All right. That's an oldie but goodie.
That's an
we've
oldie.
got, we've got 2 hours here.
Are you with the lodge? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Yes. Okay. So, I was wondering, could we get maybe a first name? If I go through the alphabet and I get to the letter of your name, you knock, and then I'll restart and we'll spell out a name, okay? So I'll start going through. Are you ready? Give us your first name. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, J. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, O. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Jonathan? No. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. Is that
John.
just John? Oh, I'm sorry. Could I get maybe a last name with that? If you're comfortable? Just so we can know. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, R. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, O. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G. Rogers? Okay, John Rogers. Well, it's very nice to meet you, John. Did
Are you looking for somebody?
One for yes, 2 for no. Can you do that again? Okay.
Somebody that's alive?
Okay, can you give me their name so I know who to look for? Was it the last name Rogers too? Okay, first name. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Marge? No.
A,
Margaret?
B, C, D.
Margaret? Is that what you said? Margaret.
Margaret? Okay. What do you want to say to Margaret? You tell me how many words. Okay. First word, how many letters? I. No. A. M. Okay. Okay. I'll see if we can pass that message along for you, okay? Okay, we're going to take a little break, all right? Okay, bye. All right, yeah, break. All right. So, John Rogers is looking for Margaret Rogers.
Margaret Rogers. Yeah. I don't know if people can see this. We submitted this, but he did leave behind his wife, Margaret, who is still living. The date of his death, he let us know what that was. And again, we checked all this in real time. The other thing that I just want to pass along, when you're hearing those knocks, they haven't been amplified in any way, because this was the second session we had done, and we had the presence of mind to actually put a recorder on the floor between them. So the knocks that you're hearing haven't been amplified or modified in any way. That just comes from the recorder, which is placed on the ground, and you can literally feel and hear the vibrations. I know, because I stood next to them the first night they ever displayed this for me. So important to note that, you know, what you're hearing is organic and it's 100% real. And there's more to Mr. Rogers' story that we came across, that maybe we have the clips, maybe not, but, you know, that was our first real foray into this. And, you know, beautiful sentiments, people coming through. And also, Mr. Rogers was a part of this location. He had, you know, a connection to this place.
Yeah. And didn't you ask at some point during the session, I believe that I saw that you had said something about asking him if he had been a policeman, and he said no, a fireman.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know if Tony has the clip. Feel free to play it. But you could see by his obituary picture that he was a retired fireman. And he had the dress uniform on. And the question was basically, ask Mr. Rogers if he was a policeman. And of course, we knew the answer. And he said no, and began to spell out fireman. And okay.
Yeah, I moved this one already.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay. If you're here, can you stomp your feet as soon as I make contact with Cody? Ready? I want to show them something. You ready? All right. So, white. Please. Can I have your attention? Please. You can stop. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Sometimes they don't listen, and I think they get really excited when they talk, and so you have to be kind of stern sometimes. Like, all right, I know this is exciting. Please calm down so I can understand, and we can do what we gotta do.
yeah.
We've kind of thrown this back and forth, and believe me, this is a work in progress with them as well as us, but we need to delve into this a little more, and we probably will as time goes on. But I think what you're actually hearing is speech, because we have asked for words, and when we do that, these rapid bangs come. Because they acknowledge, yes, I'll try to speak to you. Okay, this is a recorder. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't. Would you try to speak into it? Yes. And then you hear bop, 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 bop. But oddly, when we play it back in that time stamp, we get white noise, almost like a sort of interference. In the allotted time, like Satori has said, okay, we'll give you whatever, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, starting mark now. So nobody talks and that. And then when we play it back, and Julie will tell you there is something there vocally, but mostly it's white noise. It's sort of this veil of interference and it oscillates. Whoo, whoo, whoo. And, really odd but fascinating at the same time.
You know what's really weird, too, is that I've had a lot of video to review. And when I review my video, I plug in, I have noise-canceling headphones on, and I'm plugged into an amp, so it's very, very loud. And the interesting thing, on 2 occasions, I've actually heard the EVP, then I heard the knock. And this happened on the one we were just at. Not that long ago in the basement. And I'm listening to this, and there was a lady coming through, and you had asked something about, do you mind us asking questions? And I hear it sound like an old lady saying no. Then you hear the double knock. You guys didn't know that.
If there is any time at your indulgence, Annie, I'll let Cody and Satori tell the story of this residence. It is one of the most bizarre stories ever, if time allows. I hate to throw that out there as a tease.
Oh no, do it right now.
I know there's other things to get through, but you want to hear
and we will.
A crazy story.
Is this about the one in the basement?
Yeah.
Okay.
And go ahead and tell this story. I don't think people will not believe this.
So recently we did a case, and we had communicated with a couple spirits, previous owners, loved ones, things like that. And we were told that there was some activity in the basement. Let's try the basement, see if we can get anybody from an older time period. So we go down to the basement, and we made contact with this woman, and she was a little shy to talk. So we asked her some questions. Can you give us your name? I believe she did. I can't really recall it right now. But she did also give us her husband's name and his age and the years she remembers. So that was nice. And I just remember some conversation saying, oh, you can come upstairs if you want. She goes, you're nicer than my husband, which makes us think maybe there was some problems going on there in life. So we say, all right, well, come with us upstairs. You shouldn't have to hide in a cold basement by yourself. You're welcome. The owners welcome you. We go upstairs and we pack up for the night. And all of a sudden, while everybody's packing up, we hear footsteps walk towards us again. And we hear the little knock. So I grab Cody's arm and I'm like, are you okay? Is something wrong? She comes over to us and says, where's home? And we said, what do you mean, where's home? You're home. And she goes, no, I'm looking for, and she gives the address. And we say, this is that address. And it was, I guess, the address she was looking for was the address south instead of, what was it, west and south or west and north?
Yeah, this was North DaCosta Drive, because I don't want to leave breadcrumb trail. 83 North DaCosta Drive.
Yeah, and she was asking for south.
83.
Right. So somebody mentioned, well, there's a North DaCosta Drive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll let Cody pick it up. And at that point, this is all very confusing.
Yeah.
But then we can't tell them how we sorted this out. It's weird.
So what happened was somebody had said that, there's an equivalent, the same address, but on
down
north,
the street.
Yeah. North whatever drive instead of south whatever drive, which is the location that we were at. And the person just pointed, in that direction. He goes, oh, it's that way.
The owner points, it's down that street.
And all of a sudden you just hear footsteps sprint, and it's almost like they jumped out the window. They just ran right towards the window and just left. And we're like,
and what? We sat there confused, and we did research, and the names match up to that address down the street. So she was at the wrong house. She didn't know where she was. She was lost and hiding in the basement, and she was at the wrong house. So we had to give her directions home.
At one point, they did live in that home. Mm-hmm. So now we look, and I think Mark Purcell is in chat from our group. We looked up the 83 North DaCosta Street. Do you know who lives there? Her husband. He's still alive at 103 years old. At the same number of the street that almost sounds the same. We looked him up based on the information they gave Cody and Satori. The guy is still alive and actually lives at that address.
Yep.
So we had to tell her where to go find him.
Yeah. And she ran through the window or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I figured she said that they didn't get along well, so maybe we should check on that. Somebody needs to do a wellness check on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a crazy story, and there's been a lot of that. And one of the big questions that we've gotten a lot since doing this is, once communication is established, after a little while, we usually get the question, how is this possible? How is this happening? And what, how can you hear me? And, why are you so loud? and things like that. And so it's really cool, like Ken was saying earlier, when they start asking us questions about, what's happening.
And we also can't guarantee who we're bringing through is who somebody wants to hear from. It could be anybody. Once the energy is out there, anybody that feels that energy in a radius will come forward. Like, we've communicated with people that have nothing to do with the location. They were just down the street. They passed away down the street. So it's just, we could get anybody, and it can get confusing sometimes.
And the other strange thing is we've never had luck calling a certain spirit out. Like, we've never had luck, saying a name and asking for that specific person to come. But it's extremely rare that happens. But one thing that we've also noticed is the people that come through, let's say for a living person, like, Ken or Julie, we cross their paths naturally. And we found that it only happens when we cross the person's path naturally, which is why we'll never be. And like I said, I have friends that are mediums and psychics, and this is their format, which is perfectly great. I'm friends with them, but we're not the type of whatever you want to call us to have that format where you book readings and things like that. Because I personally don't think it would work.
We can't guarantee anything, and we wouldn't want to make money off it anyway.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to make money. I could never put a price on putting saying I love you to a loved one or something like that. But we found that when we cross the person's path naturally, and spirit tells us that somebody's here, usually that person is looking for a message, and they've been waiting a while. Just like the recent episode of Ghost Hunters. I mean, that woman was waiting for a message for a really long time, and when she got it, she was like, nope, I got my message. That's
she didn't
all
even
I
want to
need.
see it in person. She was like, what you told me is all I needed to know.
And she was wearing his ashes around her neck in that interview.
Yeah.
And she was just so desperately looking for a message, and was so relieved to receive it. So
it was very moving. It truly was. That's the thing that I think is most important about this and what's happening, and especially at this time when so many are losing loved ones. That's the true value of what we experience, research, study, and live, because each one of us lives a normal life and a paranormal life. And it's all the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems to me that what you're exhibiting in terms of communication is validation for the notion, the concept that telepathy, consciousness, all that communication is wrapped up as though there is only one singular mind that all existence taps into. We consider ourselves living earthlings. We consider spirit, whether you call them ghosts or the others, whatever you refer to them as, they still remain some type of an entity in some way. They have shown themselves to us. What a relief, and what a beautiful correspondence to be able to have between this side and the next, especially because it validates the notion that there is no actual separation. Saying that, I want to lead into the experiences at Payne House. Julie's experience with her brother, Ken's with his family, with the Whipples, and particularly one story that he shared. Ken, can you lead us into that and through that?
Okay. Really quickly, one of the reasons that we really hadn't seen anything like this is because we hadn't seen each other in a year. Obviously, in 2020, no one was doing anything, keeping their distance. So we had a little chance to research, and I came up with a name at the Payne House, Louise Whipple, who passed away at the age of 19. And it was like a new revelation. So I like, gee, when we go back, I would like to try to reach out to this individual. So we were there, December, late December or I forget. But they were kind of taking a break, and I was going to mention, hey, I want to try to, and I stopped myself. And I said, no, I don't want to mention the name I'm going out after because I don't want to influence anybody or taint anything that we're doing. So I kept it to myself, this particular name. So no one knew what I was getting at. No one knew this name. No one knew what I was thinking, except for one person. And this is an amazing, another little piece of this puzzle that we're putting together when we start talking about how do we communicate exactly. So that's the backstory for what I guess you're about to hear now, is someone coming through whom I had not even talked about and intentionally did not, so I wouldn't contaminate or taint anything that was going to happen after that. So that's it.
Go again.
Okay.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, K. A, B, C, D, E, Chem. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, D. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, E. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, H. A, B, A.
Thank you.
Did you just hear a footstep?
Trying to talk me or something?
Thank you. No. First word. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
All right, where are we at?
T, H, A.
Yeah.
You said no.
T, H. Okay, and I'll restart. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I.
I. Yes.
Think. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N.
Think.
Think. Thinking.
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 Thinking. A, B, E. About. Ken thinking about. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. A, B, C, D, E.
Me? Ken thinking about me?
Thinking about me.
Who is this? Is this someone we talked to before? No.
You okay? Go with this? Alright, somebody's coming through.
Right, you going.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, L. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U.
Louise.
Louise?
Oh, Louise.
Yeah.
From here, right?
She's got something she wants to say to you.
I said, okay. All right.
How many words?
Who am I talking to right now? Is this Sarah?
No. Louise.
Louise.
Is this Louise?
Yeah.
Louise, I was thinking, I didn't mention your name because I was going to ask about your Sarah's sister, and I was talking about you. So thank you for being here.
Did she read your mind? How is that possible?
Wow.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay, so I know, Louise, when you passed away,
You're soul center.
were you 16 years old? Were you 19 years old?
19.
Okay. Louise, did you get sick? Were you ill?
Yeah. Do you know what you had?
There's also the heat making noise over there too. Just a minor audio.
Do you know what you had? Do you know how you felt? Maybe you could give us a word to describe it.
No.
You know,
I mean, she knew I was thinking about it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's fascinating and frightening at the same time.
I think she liked scaring you. I really think she liked freaking you out a bit.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
they
think
definitely
so.
know who you are in that house, of course. And
So, yeah, that's me in the background going, because, you know, at that point, I was the only one who knew what the hell was really behind this. And the idea that I had gone to lengths, not to mention who I was interested in reaching out to. But, you know, there's the result.
yeah, oh, absolutely. And that's the first time we've had like a mind reading situation.
Either that or she really knew where to find you and what you were talking about.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Strange. Really strange.
well, isn't that the implication? You know, isn't that the implication? I remember, you know, George is with us tonight, and George and I went to Penhurst, and he had a spirit box, and I believe there were two other people there that had something called a Pandora's box. I don't do gadgets, so I don't know exactly, but he came into the room in what was the playroom of the children's wing of this hospital, and said, I have Andrea Perrin with me. Does anyone know what film is associated with her family? And clear as a bell came through The Conjuring. Everybody in the room heard it, disembodied voice.
Wow.
If you extrapolate that out, either they've got a big ass theater wherever they are and they're watching all the new releases, or they know everything that's going on in our world at all times. And we know virtually nothing of what's going on in their world. And so this is an opportunity to peer through the gauzy haze of time and space itself and make a connection that heretofore has not been made, certainly in this capacity. I think that it is incredibly important. I take it very seriously because this is information that is coming directly from very credible sources. All four of you being a part of this exploration bodes well for its acceptance worldwide because of the quality individuals that this information is coming from with impeccable reputations. Unfortunately, we live in a world where that matters maybe even more than it should. But all of your bases are covered, each and every one of you, in terms of putting this information out into the world in such a free way, a free and easy way, a loving way. And I think I speak for everyone who's watching the show tonight when I say that we deeply appreciate you sharing this gift with all of us.
Oh.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I mean, a couple years ago, we never thought we were ever going to share this with anybody. We thought, you know, half the people weren't going to believe us, and the half that did were going to think that we were evil in some way for being able to do something like this. So
yeah, it was especially tough for me because, you know, like I mentioned, I've always been, you know, a technical based investigator, and I thought, you know, I was going to get, you know, laughed at the beginning because this is something that, you know, was totally out of bounds for me to even, you know, at least talk about. You know, I've been friends with you know, mediums and stuff, good friends, and you know, they'd be the first one to tell you that I've never had any, you know, mediumship ability or anything like that. So even calling myself that almost sounded like a joke to me when I would say it. But doing this for a while, one thing that we can say in return to that nice message is, after doing this a lot over the past, few years, we can assure people that your loved ones are definitely around. And even the ones that you haven't met, because we've done many readings for families where people's, third great grandparents have come through that they didn't even, they didn't have the chance to meet, and they hadn't even heard of their names before. They had to, ask their parents and grandparents, if these people even existed, and they were watching over them and their children. So people are around you and watching you.
One thing we can promise is there's another side. Loved ones are on the other side. They watch over, they take care of things. We can promise that a lot of spirits, no matter when they kind of passed away, can talk to each other and kind of mingle with each other, because we've experienced that. We've had people come through and do that. It's a good place, and everybody's doing very well in that place. So we can promise that.
It is a rarity to even find just a hint of a semblance of an answer in this field. So that's why I consider this so extraordinary. It's beyond mystical. It's beyond magical. Somebody just put up a moment ago that it really is a game changer in the paranormal, and I really do believe that it is, because this is conscious contact. Both of you know that I have had conscious contact with spirit and with extraterrestrials. I have, but nobody ever filmed that happening while it was happening with me. This is something that you have already, through Ken and Julie, documented and chronicled in such a way that the evidence is indisputable. No one has to take your word for it or not. There it is. And that's part of what makes this such an amazing journey. And I think this is just the beginning of the journey for you. I do want to break away for just a moment and talk about the doll that moves leaning up against my books on your bookshelf, because that blew me away when I was watching George's show with Ken a few weeks ago, well, whenever, I don't know, but it was before Christmas. I don't know. I've lost all track of time. Time is an illusion. It does not really exist. It doesn't matter. I was watching the show with you and Ken and George, and I was never, until I met John Zaffis, I was never really a believer in haunted objects. I didn't really think that an inanimate object could capture and embrace or hold the energy of someone or something. I thought that energy would kind of dissipate and not get trapped within an item. But over the years, I've had certain encounters with certain objects that have changed my mind. And I hope that Tony's got the clip of that from their show. That's amazing. So if he's got it, please play it, because it was amazing.
Chills.
It's not sped up at all or edited at all. This happened at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, 2018.
And it's right up against Andrea's books, because that's where she likes to be, strangely enough. We had her in a doll section in a case, and she kept getting out and turning the heads of the other dolls. So what we had to do is we had to take her and put her on the shelf, because that's the only place she'll actually stay. And she likes your books. She really likes your books.
Yeah, she likes that spot.
She likes that spot. She will not move if we put her there. So I guess she likes it.
Yeah, we definitely have. And believing in haunted objects was definitely a tough thing for me too. And the first instance that we had with objects was a painting that has been, passed down in my family that belonged to my grandfather, who has now passed away. But it belonged to his grandfather, and it originated from Italy and made its way over to America. And so my great grandfather, when he was, in his last days, he was, very scared to pass away. And my grandparents, are full Italian, so they would be praying every single night before bed, and they would pray to this painting of Christ. And during his last days, when he was, petrified to die, he was praying, and he claimed that the painting came to life and started talking to him and telling him that everything was going to be okay. He would have a peaceful transition, and there'd be nothing to worry about. And that really put him at ease. He was very comfortable with death after that, and passed away comfortably. When he passed away, it was passed down to his son, my great-grandfather, and then passed down to my grandfather. And I remember being little, walking in on my grandfather praying at night, and I'd always back away because I didn't want to interrupt him. And he would pray to this painting every night just as well as his grandfather, his father and grandfather would. And during his last days, he had a very similar experience, and claimed that his mom was there, and the painting was communicating with him as well and making him feel at peace. So I definitely don't believe that every object is has a negative attachment or has a spirit trapped in it at all. I think a lot of objects that we have, that people have donated, we've been kind of called like this foster home for objects, because we've always said, if you ever want your object back, feel free to take it back, because a lot of these objects mean a lot to people, and they just want it put in a safe spot.
And we promised them that we'll take care of them. And the same went for Liza, the doll in the video. She came from a not so positive case, but we think she's just a person, and she's sassy. She just has a very big attitude, and she's very stubborn, and she likes it her way or no way. So we decided on the shelf that was her way, and she's been good ever since.
Marvelous. It's just amazing. Tony, I know you're as excited about this as I am. Pull me off the screen and come in and talk with them for a few minutes and ask any questions that you wish. This is a rare privilege and opportunity, I think.
Well, they do amazing work, no doubt about it. And I know they've been on Ken shows. We've actually had them on our Entity Voices show. And every time they show up on another show, they have more and more amazing interactions. The fact that, people have been using devices, spirit boxes, and other communication methods and get results, but to be able to not have any technology at all and get words spelled out that give messages, and then be able to actually find documents that prove without a shadow of a doubt that these people existed, that they, lived down the street and they were just at the wrong address. But I guess a lot of the questions that come through the chat that I've been seeing, probably directed specifically to Satori and Cody, is one of them was, have you ever had anything negative come through, or has it all been positive?
We did this is a private case, so we can't talk much about it, but we did have one case, and it was for a friend of ours, and they thought they were dealing with something that was on the negative side. I wouldn't label it, necessarily demonic, because there's different criteria for everybody to assume if it's an evil entity or an inhuman. So we just kind of worked this case, and it was very nasty what was coming through, and we felt very drained, and they were dealing with sicknesses and illnesses and bad things happening over and over again. Long story short, it helped us learn more to because we had our walls up, thankfully. We already knew how to kind of put our walls up, but it helped us make sure we were reinforcing those walls and making sure that we learn how to feel if something is negative, so we can now start to promise people, hey, this isn't negative, because we get specific feelings now. So we learn from that experience, okay, we feel a certain way in our gut or in our head, that it's something that we shouldn't be messing with, and then we break the connection. Long story short, that case was handled, thankfully, but that was, I think, the only negative thing that we don't believe was like just a normal person.
Right. Yeah. We definitely come across cases. I mean, I believe, and I definitely believe now that we've been able to communicate the way we have, that people retain their attitude that they had here on life, and on this planet here, before they transition to the realm that they're in now. I believe they definitely retain that same attitude, and we've definitely gotten that attitude, with spirits that we've talking to.
Sure.
I can't tell you how many mean things I've been told sometimes. Julie knows just the last one.
Yeah, so
The grumpy guy behind the bar.
Yeah, and he told
right.
me
Who
let the
wouldn't-
men speak.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let Satori speak. Only Cody could ask the questions.
He was from like
Wow.
1820.
Oh, Andy,
That's why.
Andrew, you would have loved this guy.
Oh yeah,
Oh my
yeah. He would have been a feminist by the time I was done with him.
yeah,
Yeah, he wasn't nice. He was from the 1800s, and he wouldn't let me speak. It was only Cody or Ken. That was it.
right. Yeah, at this location, it was, not
So
right at
what's
that
your
time
point?
for a woman to sit at the bar and come in that area, and he was making it known, and we were trying to make it known that times have definitely changed. But he, unfortunately wasn't having that, and he wouldn't talk to us unless a male was asking the questions.
And I know Andrea would have fought him on that.
Yeah, I think you both would have for sure, and I think Julie would have jumped in there with a few.
And he made fun of my hat too.
Oh, that was hysterical.
Oh, well, that's just wrong.
Oh my God.
That's evil. That qualifies him as an evil spirit.
Well, I was wearing a knit hat. It was
Yeah.
cold, and I guess that wasn't a thing back then,
Yeah.
What did he say? Did your mother knit you that hat?
something like that. I think I don't know if I think you guys made that up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I'm that creative.
Hey, can I? There was a question I think is important from someone we know very well, Michelle Harold, who is a viewer on Dead Air, and I don't know if you can find it, Tony. You probably have to scroll up, but the gist of it was, are we getting the messages to people? And I think that's an important distinction. And I can tell you right now, we have received quite a few, and some of the people they're meant for have been present. So with that said, there is only one that we're kind of dealing with right now because it's a delicate situation. This is an elderly lady. We're not exactly sure that the intermediaries aren't reaching out to her. So it's an awkward kind of thing where she doesn't know us at all. So we kind of like cold call her and give this information to her. So you got to treat those things delicately.
Yes.
But the only other one is going to be resolved on Monday in a residence that we did that the former owner and the present owner, there you go, there's Michelle. The present owner and the former owner, before any of this happened, met each other just by the weirdest of circumstances because somebody got mail intended for the other one and they became friends. So she's agreed to sit down and I'm going to bring this to her. And, so yeah, the short answer is, Michelle, we don't let it hang out there just because, we got these wonderful things. It's like we're sincere when we say if you have a message, whether that's I'm okay or I love you, whatever the case may be, that's important. Why else are we doing this? So,
yeah.
And I know Cody and Satori have sat down with people before any of this and done that kind of thing. So, I mean, rest assured that, we're not doing this as a hit and run and, hey, we got great evidence and let's go on to the next. There's something more. There's more emotional content in this type of thing.
Right.
Well, it's a very intimate process, and you take you don't take the responsibility of it lightly. And I think, again, speaks to wisdom beyond your years. It is important that if you get a message that you do everything in your power to pass that message along. And it is a delicate thing. I mean, I've had sometimes where I don't consider myself a psychic or a medium, but I've gotten a message that just flew through me. And I was with a person and I said, I don't know if this means anything, but, and almost every time they're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
But there's that moment of hesitation, like, should I say anything? What are they going to think? There's still that moment of hesitation when that happens. And I don't walk up to people in grocery stores and say, oh, by the way, your grandmother says hello. She's, drives home safely, or, anything like that. It's not that. Yeah. It's almost always when I'm either hugging somebody, meeting them at an event or something like that. It's almost always when there's some kind of physical contact. And so I wanted to mention that to you because I wanted to ask you if you think that that is an integral part of the process of what's happening here, that there's some kind of an electrical charge or an energy that you infuse into each other that virtually creates a conduit effect. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely think that there's something going on along those lines. I'm not sure exactly how it's working, but what I can describe is when we're doing a session, I feel something in my legs, and Satori feels something towards her head. And it's almost like making a full loop. That's the only way I can describe it. What I feel I can describe is the same feeling as like you would get if anybody's ever experienced shin splints. That's the type of like aching that it feels like. And it's almost like a battery going down. Like the longer we do it, the more intense the feeling will get. And then the more quieter the sounds, the knocking will get as well. And then we take 10-minute break, and it's almost like recharging. And then we'll hold hands again, and we can do it again. We also found that sleep has a big part in this as well.
Food, if we eat the right kind of foods.
Yeah, and
really,
yeah, depending on what we eat.
Sugar helps.
Sugar definitely helps. So
they do share their snacks, though. So
we do. We always share with everybody.
But our best guess from talking to people that research this kind of thing, other professionals, they say, our best guess is you guys work like a battery, like a circuit. So when you guys connect, it's like the wires just connect and somehow rip open this opening that allows for the barrier to be broken and intelligent communication to happen. That's the best guess that people have come up with yet. But we're still looking. This is something that hasn't really happened before. So we're looking.
Yeah.
The modem and the coax.
Yeah, exactly. We've tried to ask the other side, questions. Of course, I'm sure people are wondering the same thing. If we've asked some of the big questions to the other side, and we have, and there's definitely things that they just won't tell us, of course, which is fine. And there definitely is a set of rules, and we are following what we've been told. But one of the things that they have answered is, they've said that when we hold hands, that some spirits have come forward and said that they see a light, like a beam. They've called it like a lighthouse, something similar to that.
Called a lighthouse. Yeah, I remember.
We actually have that tonight.
Really? Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, play that.
And
that was the other thing. When I had messaged Tony, I said, other than can they read your mind, here's the other big question is like, what do they see on the other side?
Oh, that's great.
So whenever you'd like. Yeah. So before you even get Cody, we'll.
Hey,
then you can go on it.
You guys are talking too about, the connection and the fact that they're saying they're seeing light, but you were saying shin splints, Cody. That's the feeling you get. And if I remember correctly, Satori, you get like a headache, correct?
Yep. Right there. Yep.
So, energy or a battery circuit flows in one direction. It's positive on one side, negative out the other. So your headache may be the entry point. Cody's shin splints could be the exit point, and that's the rotation of that energy, similar to a battery circuit, giving off that energy. So that's really interesting. Really interesting.
There might be science behind it. We just got to figure it out.
There probably is. Science just needs to catch up, but I'm sure there is.
I've always said that magic is science we don't yet understand.
Yeah, that's true.
For sure.
So do we have that clip? Is that what you were telling me, Ken or Tony, that we have?
We do. I had sent it to you. Tony, it has the name Sarah in it. how
Yes.
she can speak to us or something like that.
All right, let me play that clip. Here it comes.
Thank you.
Emojis A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. H, I.
L-I.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
Light.
You see a light? Ooh. A bright light when we touch? Wow. That's how you know where to find us?
Interesting.
So whenever we touch, it's just the light. And you walk towards it, and that's how we can talk to you. Okay.
Okay, we understand.
Yeah, you should.
We understand.
So, wait a minute. Does the light go away when we do this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What the hell?
Do you see anything else or hear anything? You just hear our voices and you come towards us? Yeah. Well, that's very cool. Is it...
That's cool.
What does that mean? Is that a word? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. You?
Sorry, hey. We'll take a break after this word.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U. Loud? It's very loud.
We're loud?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what you talking about, Cody. It's just kind of like, what do they see? Is this a doorway or a beacon, or so? Maybe that answers that.
We're a loud lighthouse, and I feel bad because just imagine how scary that must be for them to just suddenly see a burst of light and loud talking. I don't know if I would walk towards it as easily sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have found that when we first hold hands at a location, we might get one spirit that comes forward, but the more times we take breaks and hold hands, it's almost like they're getting more friends on the other side to come forward, and throughout the night more and more people will start to come through, and towards the end of the night you'll start getting family members of people that are actually there and not just spirits that are with the location. So
Well, sometimes too, you've also had it where there was so much banging on the other side, they wouldn't shut up and you couldn't do anything.
Yeah, we had to break.
It
Yeah.
was crazy.
That's true, which is why another reason why I believe like a gallery reading setting just wouldn't work, because we found that when there is a big group of people around us, it's almost like a crowd.
Everyone's
rushing.
fighting to talk.
Yeah, and it's really tough, and it's sad, at the same time, because we want to at least get a message across, and we want to try talking to everybody, but we kind of have to send some people away respectively, and just handle a few people at a time.
Better to just let it come to us than try to sign up for gallery readings and read theaters of people. That's going to be too much on us. So might as well just let it come to us.
Well, that's what I was talking about before in terms of we go to these places for a specific reason. Mm-hmm. And of course, somebody like the last place we went to, it's an old iconic restaurant, and the owner's mom, had to name the entire family, like 7 kids, 12 grandkids, and we're just kind of, okay. But we're there for a specific reason, and because you don't want to lose sight of that, but at the same token, hey, when you open that door, we've all heard this, it's like somebody comes through, here's an opportunity. I know I would take it. Mm-hmm. If somebody can hear me, it's like, listen, could you do me a favor? Could you tell whomever that, everything's good. And at this place, we had a former employee come through, the mother of the present owner. So everybody that did, there was a connection to that particular location, which is great. I mean, that's fine. And in fact, the employee, she passed away in 2018, I think. And I had pulled her name up as a Hail Mary when they got the first name. And I showed it to the two young ladies who had let us in that night. And I showed the full name, and damn if they didn't spell out what her last name was. So we already knew who this was before they gave the full name. And of course, they're blown away. And by this point, I'm sitting there going, yeah, it's no big deal. That's what they do, But there are reports of children in this place. And the woman came through and said, yeah, there's 3 little boys, and they run around all over the place and make a lot of noise and everything. So it's like on the other side, there's a community over there too. And, the little boys running around are annoying and making a lot of noise and things like that. So all of these things are really fascinating. Absolutely.
Yeah, the before you and Julie even mentioned this, when we were playing the clips of all the knocking noises, when I listened to them and I had headphones on, I didn't hear it. But during the show, I use a surround sound system, and I could hear speech in between those knocks. So when you then said that to Julie, there were 3 or 4 sentences during that occurrence of fast knocks and in between the knocks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's speech. So I'm going to definitely go back and take another listen because it is there.
Yeah, I think the speech may manifest itself in those sounds. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend I know. I mean, like I said, as we go on, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way. You're learning as you go what the guardrails and the limits and the boundaries are, and and because this is about you, so the rest of us are just kind of sitting in bleachers watching this go on.
We couldn't do it without you guys.
Yeah, we're glad to have you guys.
This is really so amazing that I think eventually and inevitably it will render much of the techie equipment used in paranormal investigative research obsolete. This is so organic. It's so authentic. It's so pure. It's so almost tangible. It's the emotion is, I've already cried 3 times tonight, did my best to hide it, but it strikes a chord that nothing else has for me, that nothing else has. And I've had extraordinary spirit box sessions with George, with Tim Woolworth. I've had extraordinary things happen through different objects that have been used. I don't touch them because as soon as I do, I kill them. The batteries die. They're dead. They're dead as soon as I touch them. Julie knows. She wouldn't even let me into her tech room. I could look through the door. I couldn't actually walk in the room at her house recently. But this is different. And I think that we need to speak to that. I think we need to acknowledge how different this is. There is Mark. Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah, I know there are a number of people who are investigators who say, I'm the piece of equipment. I'm the sensory receptor. I'm the one that is picking up on the energy and picking up on the messages and so on and so forth. Do you have things moving on your back walls?
Yeah, something moved over there, and I just heard it. And I in my brain, I was like, calm down. Don't do anything while we're on air.
We don't need stuff flying across the screen. Although that does happen on our show from time to time. Tony, you can verify that. Validate me. There are times things move and stuff happens. Yes. But I think that this takes us to a different level. And the beauty of it is that it has surfaced at I think a critical time in our spiritual evolution. And us, we, big capital letters, humanity. But the thing that, I know it doesn't matter to you. You don't care if you're famous for it or what. I know you both. I mean, that doesn't even factor into the equation with you. But what I want you to do is what Ken and Julie will help you to do, which is to chronicle as much of this as you can so that it can be evaluated statistically, to compile the data on this, even though this is a very intimate and a very personal process that you're going through. As I've said, you are the light you seek. You are. And you are putting off that kind of energy so that it is a beacon to beings who, in whatever realm they're in, are able to connect and feel safe enough to do so with you, which means that you are trusted to get the message through. It is a personalized connection that you've established that is second to none. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen thousands and thousands of hours of evidence from a multitude of different people. And I've never seen anything like this. Ken, I know you and Julie, I just want to pull this out of you because talking with you personally, I know how touched you have been by this, how it has profoundly changed you to have witnessed this. And I want Julie to speak to that as well, because I think it's perfectly okay for us to feel how important this is. Not just think about it, but feel how important this is. I mean, you have to hit George Lopez with a boulder to make him cry. And during your show with them back when, he had to come off the screen several times because his emotions were rising to the surface. I know George well enough to know that that's what was happening with him. He was feeling what he was witnessing.
Yeah.
And
oh, definitely. There was, I know when my brother came through, I'm expecting somebody from the 16 or 1700s to come through. And here comes this stomping in the room. And to me, I think the level of the knocking is, I think there's a direct correlation to the personality. And it's pretty loud banging coming through. And I'm like, TIM, like, Tim. Okay, I don't know many Tims from the 16, 1700s. And my brother came through. And he said he was with his, my dad and he said dad and Al, and that was Al Sr., my grandfather. Mm-hmm. It blew me away. I mean, how could you not be completely taken back? I was thrilled and completely surprised he came through. But the weirdest thing was Ken that night also had several his relatives come through. That night on the way home from Paine, it's about like an hour drive. It was like a moment of silence in the car. Because it's sort of what just happened. And it's not like you think, oh, I'll be so excited if my brother comes through. It's still, even through that night, having trouble sleeping to absorb what just happened. Mm-hmm. And it was caught on film on like 5 cameras. And that was the weirdest thing. And I was like, oh my God, be careful what you ask for. Someone comes through, they're okay. And it gives me a different perspective on the afterlife to know, hey, I have evidence. I have firsthand evidence that they're okay on the other side.
And this life.
But the interesting thing too, what little I've done with Cody and Satori, is that their personalities come through. But that, not only that, at Paine House, I wasn't there the one night where the little girl Sarah brought them to a room and showed them where her bed was, and that how she didn't like the color of the paint in the room. Mm-hmm. So you're getting that, and that's a firsthand knowledge from back then. It's just amazing from historical every perspective, and it's like it's opened up so many different things now, and it's like, oh my God, you don't know where to start asking the questions. But the personalities and just everything back to me, I was just in awe. I was just like, oh my God, they're there.
Mm-hmm. I think
and it's cool.
The first thing that you think when you experience this is how it affects you personally. Right? Yeah. Like, how do I feel about it on a micro level? And initially, my thought when I came away from the first time we did this back in November, and I told him this, I said, I come from a time doing this where people made fun of you. Yes. And, they rolled your eyes or whatever, and you either deal with it or you don't. You're either going to be in it for the long haul or you're going to let people, what they say and do affect you, right? So persevered, stuck with it through marriage, kids, the whole 9 yards, still standing here. And to me, what that did is it just gave me this validation that it wasn't all a waste. It wasn't all a waste. All the bullshit and everything that we all got to put up with when something like this happens, you can just say, fine, I'm shrugging it off because I know better. That's an empowering feeling to know that, I know better. So you deal with it as far as how you feel personally. And then I think once you get past that and you get involved in what it is that they're doing, because we still investigate and we still take readings and we still set up cameras, and that's not going away. But you get to that point where you're over yourself and you've come to grips with how you feel and what it means to you. And then you start getting back into what we're all trying to do, and that's get answers. I personally feel, and I'm going to speak for all the people in this group, we feel blessed.
Yes.
Why us? That we have the opportunity for two people that we've known from before any of this ever happened to just be able to share what they have. Because to me, this is about them. It is not for us to regulate. It's for whatever it is that they feel going forward is the best path for them. And if we're a part of that, then that's fine. Like I said, I've got 8 or 9 places lined up that suddenly the phone's ringing again, So, I mean, if they're available to go in, but the way we're trying to do it now is to just give them latitude, because they talked about shin splints and headaches. I'm a dad. I'm a grandfather. I'm sorry. I know they have parents and people who love them, but I can't get past that. It's like, I don't want you guys in pain. I don't want you guys feeling that you got to stand there for 2 hours. 10 minutes. Introduce us. Who's here? What's your name? You want to talk to us? Yes, fine. Take a break. Then we'll go from there. And then 15 minutes later, if they say, hey, we want to go upstairs and do something. Yeah, cool. Julie, go with them. Just make sure you document, take whatever equipment.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to find that path that everybody is still investigating and doing what we showed up to do. But, working this out so that there's a balance there and they enjoy it. Because I still want it to be fun, whatever it is that we're doing, so.
Well, to play on what you were saying when you said it's us, not you guys. It is you guys, because at the end of the day, we may be able to do this, but it takes all of you guys to make this work. We don't have the means to get in touch with these people to get messages through. You guys do. You guys take notes for us, allow us to have breaks, help us, coach us and give us advice on things and make us try new things. So I don't think we would be sitting here the exact way we were if it weren't for all of you guys.
Balance.
Well, you couldn't have better mentors than Ken and Julie. And I hope you both know that for what it's worth, you can always turn to me at any time. I've always got your back.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you, really. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, goodness.
Tony, you have to take me off screen for a moment and take my spot. I have a dog that's got to go out right now. I'll be right back.
No problem.
Sorry.
So I know one of the questions that I have, and just being on, involved in paranormal research for the last 12 years, what you guys are doing is literally groundbreaking, and nothing like it have I ever seen before. But being very much on the technical side, being very much on the ITC side, and having gotten great responses, my first thought is I wonder what the combination would be between what you guys can do and something from the ITC side, where they could not only spell things out and give messages, but if that could then be correlated with an ITC function to hear them speak and get double answers from both ways of communicating.
Yeah. One example I can give is, I think this is maybe the only time, I want to say the only time that a spirit box was going, the same time we were holding hands.
I think so.
Yeah, I want to say there might have been another time, but one time that definitely sticks out in my head is we were at the farmhouse in Rhode Island, Andrea's, old home, and we were there with John Zathis, and we were doing a session in the living room, and his family had come through. Lorraine was there, and Ed, his uncle and aunt, and his parents came through. A bunch of family members came through for John, and John turned on his spirit box during that session. And he was listening to the spirit box, and then Satori and myself were on the other side of the room doing our thing. And whenever we would get an answer, we would just say it out loud. And what we were saying was correlating with the answers that John was saying out loud.
Yeah, at times it was strangely, it sounded strange at times. It was definitely like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
Sure.
It definitely seemed like it was working hand in hand. We haven't really experimented too much with connecting the two together, but that's one instance I can think of.
What we do isn't perfect. It's not perfect. We're still learning. I mean, it's great communication, but it's not. You don't always get exactly what you want all the time.
Right.
If we can't give all the answers because we don't have all the answers. So if we were going to try to recreate this or teach people how to do this or create a machine that could do this, we just simply can't because we don't even know what we're doing in order to dissect it. Will it ever happen? I'm not sure. I mean, I think we're still waiting to figure out and have proof that there's other people on this planet that can do this. So once we can figure it out and dissect it, I think then we could, if it's meant to be,
Well, I know that some of the things we've done, Tony, is like just ask the basic questions. Have you tried to talk to us before? Yes. Do you know what a recorder is? Sometimes no, sometimes yes. Depends when they passed away.
Yep.
1700s, no. 2018, yeah, I know what this is. So yes, I do see you, and I'll say, do you see what I'm pointing at? Yes. So they can see or sense or some way. So yeah, they are seeing us. They are trying to cooperate. They are trying to communicate. We just don't have that thing yet where it's constant and consistent. We've made inroads digitally, in analog, in the technology that we've had, definitely. I mean, you say that I don't use as much equipment as I used to, but I gave up using a lot of this stuff before, Cody and Satori came along, because it was just, it does nothing. I'm not talking about like taking environmental readings and stuff like that.
Right.
I still want to see how that affects us or how it affects the room. So
and that makes perfect sense.
The effort is there on the other side to talk to us. They're trying. They are trying. And as far as, my short experience with this, the feedback that's coming is positive on that. It just doesn't happen the way we'd like it to.
Right. And to Satori's point is that most of the variables which determine when it happens, how it happens, are outside of our realm of understanding yet. And that is why it makes it so difficult to manipulate it or make it happen. You can't. Satori is absolutely correct. You can't. And it's because those variables are unknown to us. And until we find a way to understand what's occurring and how it's occurring, then maybe some manipulation can occur to make it happen when and how we hope it would. But until that, she's absolutely right. We don't know those variables and therefore can't plan or force anything to happen.
Yeah, but it does say a lot that this is coming through humans rather than technology. Yes,
right.
Humans will go through them. The tech, we're still working on that.
Yes, but the thing is that to me, and I don't use the word lightly, I consider what's happening with Satori and Cody to be miraculous. As I've said about the farmhouse, it doesn't even matter who they were, that they still are. Some way, somehow, they still exist and are attempting to communicate with us and are as curious about us as we are about them. That, to me, is the most phenomenal thing, because imagine if millions and millions of people around the world have been touched by spirit in some way, shape, or form. They know it. Well, I never cried. I had COVID, George. George, oh God, George. Okay, so yeah, only George could make me completely lose my train of thought.
Sorry, I had to put that up. I thought it was hilarious.
It is. He is something. He had COVID in the last like the last week and a half, not 2 months ago. But here's the thing. They still are. And imagine if we lived in a world where we never knew that those that our loved ones had passed, that if we had to live our lives wondering if we would ever see them again, if there was ever any way to make contact with them again, if they cared about us or watched over us, or do they know where they are? What is where they are? Is it that they're not sharing that information because they're not supposed to? Or is it that they're not sharing that information because they can't, because they're unaware of their own circumstances? They just simply know that they continue to exist and are finding a way to communicate with us, and even telepathically, like what happened with Ken and Louise. That to me is absolutely astounding. We only have a few minutes left, which is really, I can't imagine how this 2 hours went by in what felt like 10 minutes. But, the thing is, Tony and I think I can speak for Tony as well, that it is a privilege to be able to bring your story out into the world to our audience, and they in turn will share it with other like-minded individuals. And in a way, it's spreading the mystical and magical realization that we are not alone. Here, baby, it's my girl. That we are not alone, that we are all surrounded by spirit all the time, that we are loved and we are cherished and we are watched over. And for me personally, that brings me extraordinary comfort. And I've lived my whole life practically knowing that spirit exists. So imagine the impact that this will have on individuals that maybe never even considered before that their loved ones are a breath away, standing behind them, watching over them, loving them dearly. What an incredible gift to give to your fellow human being.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think that they can speak to that, because I know that they've gone into that realm. You guys have asked certain questions about what's it like over there, and I mean, you can talk to that better than any of us as far as what you got back.
All we really get, that we can't know much because we get told that it's something that we have to kind of figure out for ourselves. But what we get is it's a great place. It's a beautiful, good place. And every time we ask, are you happy? Are you good? I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm in a good place. And it's just so reassuring to know that and be able to pass that along to people that there's somewhere that's a lot better than here for them.
Right. And one message that we've gotten a few times that will probably, bring joy is the sentence that this is only the beginning. We've gotten that a few times.
We've also gotten that I never died. Like, I didn't die, and that means to them, like, I just left a form. I'm still here, and I'm just in a different area. You can't see me. It's not the same, but I'm still here. So if that's reassuring to people too.
Yeah. I think that's an entire show in itself, Andrea, in terms of what the process, what we have to go through here. Because I think that there may be some speed bumps put in there, and I'm just projecting this, because if you knew for certain that it was so much better on the other side, I think some very vulnerable people in our world might take that message to mean something a lot more sinister, or and so yeah, you know what I mean. So life is to be lived here and enjoyed. Knowing that it's not the end is an advantage, but I don't think it detracts from the idea that we all have to live, we all have to love, and we have to do the best for ourselves and each other while we're here in this shell.
Yeah.
Look at me. I don't have much to work with anyway, so.
I don't want to completely change the subject, but I felt this is the best time to tell you, Andrea. Every time we go to the farmhouse, there's at least one or two spirits that come through there and talk about you. And they always talk so highly about you. So I just felt that was something you need to know. Somebody that says that you called them Manny, and they all call them Manny. They call me Manny. He always comes through and is like, how's Andrea? How are the parents? Like, I miss them. So I felt like that was something you needed to know too.
Cool. Right. Yeah.
I just remembered.
Yeah. He kept saying that, they call me Manny. He wouldn't say his name was Manny. He would just say,
right. It wasn't.
Yeah. There's a few names that always come up.
Well, Manny says his name is Joseph. Then there's Jonathan, and then there's Matthew, and they talk about you all the time. They talk about you all the time. You can't get them to stop talking about you guys.
Oh, that's wonderful to know. It feels, it's so strange, I guess, when you live the way I've lived. Spirit feels like just extended family members, I've often said that I visit with my relatives now that they've passed far more than I ever got to visit with them when they were living. And so it's truly a blessing. To be touched by spirit is a blessing, not a curse. It is that rare glimpse into the realm from which we come and will inevitably all return. And so there is no need to be afraid. And on that note, I want to thank all of you for your very kind and generous participation in the show tonight, and to thank all of our viewers. I hope that you have been as touched as we have been by this extraordinary experience and by these bright lights in the firmament, these two individuals who are the future of the paranormal. And so with that, be not afraid and be at peace and find comfort and dare to believe. Just dare to believe, because we know nothing compared with what there is to know. And we're just all finding our way, and we're doing it together, and we're doing it in love, with love, because we don't have a lot of answers, but one thing I think is for certain, and that is love never dies. And so on that note, thank you all from the bottom of my heart for joining us tonight on A World Awakening. I love you all. You know I do. Tony, you were remarkable, extraordinary as usual, the best producer in the industry, hands down, no competition. Thank you all for joining us tonight on KGRA, and God bless.
Nice.